if you look, for instance, at the companions of our beloved alayhi salatu wasalam, if you look at Omar and Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with them, they approached their Islam somewhat differently, right? They were different types of personalities. One of the beautiful things about the founding community of our beloved alayhi salatu wasalam is that it was a multicultural society where the marginalized people felt welcome. What do I mean by this? I know multicultural is a word that we use right now. We call it diversity, inclusion. The reality is that if you look at the founding community, the people that our beloved alayhi salatu wasalam surrounded themselves with weren't all from one tribe, weren't all from one ethnicity, right? Like we tend to do, right? They were varied. You know better than I from the seerah, right? And so, and you also understand that Islam in Mecca and Islam in Medina didn't look alike. That the task of Islam, and again, there are people who are more knowledgeable about seerah than I am, so please correct me if I'm wrong. The Islam in Mecca was more focused on tarbiyah than the Islam in Medina. Why was it more focused on tarbiyah? Because you had a founding early community. The Islam in Mecca and Medina was more of a political entity because our Prophet ﷺ was called to Yathrib, which was named at the particular time, to help make peace, right? And so it had a more political favor, there was a constitution, and the concerns were very different. So we need to be able to think of nuance. And the final thing I would say is that we shouldn't be following other people down rabbit holes. What do I mean by this? That we have Muslims right now who are arguing over Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court decision. My recommendation is don't get involved in the argument, because if and I'm not an alim, if I look at the pro-life and the pro-choice and the so-called pro-life and the pro-choice positions, as I see them in the public square, to me, they don't sound like Islamic principles undergird them. It just doesn't sound like Islamic principles undergird them. And so when we understand that 90% of the abortions that are performed in this country are performed on people who are not married. Now, I'm not saying that we should be against abortion for just that reason. I'm saying that when we approach a topic, we should look at the assumptions that are underpinning it and look at our Islamic values first, rather than say, I'm pro-life, I'm pro-choice, or a woman's right to choose. And so I'm saying that we shouldn't be following blindly behind one side or the other. We should be about the business of making a just, safe society for women, making a just, safe society for children, and making a just, safe society for people who want to get married and have families. So that's my point. So those are three things that I would think of, that we should not be arrogant individually, that we should not follow the racism that we find in the broader society, and that we shouldn't follow the sort of political divisions that people make, and then all of a sudden we're involved in somebody else's fight. Yeah. Yes. Mm. Yeah, sure. So the question is that we've seen things deteriorated during the time of our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, and that we know these things are coming. In a sense, our Prophet, peace be upon him, he predicted some of these things that we're seeing happening, and why aren't we prepared? That's an excellent question, because again, this goes to the point I was making. Let's not accept somebody else's narrative and being aware of prophetic practice. I mean, these are fancy words for saying that you know enough Islam to implement it in your life and be a role model and be a teacher of Islam. That's what we're trying to push for.
Just wanted to highlight one point. Sheikh Yasir Qadhi was giving a talk a while back when Irving Masjid was doing a fundraiser maybe 5, 6, 7 years back.
Mm-hmm.
He was highlighting a stage when Islam was modern.
Yeah.